really well. Let them come into it a little bit midway through this first half, through probably our own sloppiness, but came out in the second half, and credit to the boys, it was a dominant performance from start to end.
We were a bit more accurate in the second half. That in football is one of the most important things when you want to build from behind, because if you are accurate, you don't give away easy ball, you don't give them confidence, while first half was completely in the opposite side.
To be honest, horrible second half. It's not difficult, it's horrible. Was not our team in the pitch. I think it's hard to say something, but to be honest, was not our character, was not like what we trained to do, and everyone felt like it's a tough day for us.
We lost our way. It was already a crazy first half, but we showed moments of quality, and we were well in the game. And then, regardless of what you do with the ball and what you do when you're in shape, if you give goals like we gave, it was going to be a tough afternoon. So we gave Chelsea a lot of help, so an awful lot that I need to fix.
There are things that we can improve. The goal we conceded, we can avoid. The second goal was almost finished first half. We conceded an easy free kick that we don't need to do any free kick there. But anyway, it's we can learn many things.
There was a little bit of a headline this morning with something that you had inadvertently put out there. What have you got to say about that?
No, I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody from Wolverhampton or anyone in general. It was a mistake, and you learn from those things, and hopefully nothing like that happens again.
Let's move on from whatever's been going on Instagram and focus about what went on the pitch, because as anybody who does score a hat-trick is, he was fantastic today.
He was. He clearly didn't allow for, his comments before the game affect his start to the game, because I thought certainly himself and Cole Palmer, right from the off, just set out their intentions. You can see here Cole Palmer more central, really good positioning. But Madueke, I think that, the way he just drove at the defender made it really hard for Ant-Nouri there, whether to take him on his left or his right, and he looked quite comfortable. Here you can see him again trying to get himself the ball into the box. One thought when he gets into those areas, can I get a shot away? And he was at it all afternoon, but I really like the link-up between himself and Cole Palmer, and you'll see here he gets himself to an area. Again, fullback doesn't know to let him inside, outside, and he puts the ball into a really good area, but Cole Palmer's just not able to adjust his feet in time. But this was a different side to it. Well, this is the link-up. This was a great connection between the two all afternoon. Again, when he gets it, his only intention is to carry the ball forward and gets a really good free kick. But this was a different part of his game. He showed a really good attitude here, which we haven't seen much of. A little bit scruffy, thinks he's lost possession, but then gets away, and one thought in his mind again, and that is to carry the team up the pitch. A little bit off with the weight of the pass, but I felt this is what was better about his game. With Cole Palmer, this connection here, just staying a little bit wider and timing his run from out to in, and then again a bit of a deflection, but he gets the first goal. And you'll see here that connection again with Cole Palmer, just holds his run, wants the ball, but I think clever from Cole Palmer, delaying it, off-balancing the defender, and a really good strike. And then we'll see him here top off his hat-trick. And I thought this is the pick of them all. I think the touch there, just to settle himself and compose it. He could have took it first time, but I think the fact that he composed himself and put it away, he had a really, really good afternoon.
Do you find it in the modern game, in that he's comfortable on both feet and he's direct?
Yeah, I was surprised by it. I thought he was predominantly left-footed. Ant-Nouri obviously thought that as well, and he was showing him down that right-hand side. But the fact that he was comfortable going left and right and putting the ball into good areas. I mean, 3 goals off his weaker foot this afternoon. I think fullbacks now are going to analyse him a little bit different in the future games.
Right. I'm not asking you for your opinions on different Midland cities, otherwise you might get us all cancelled in the space of 3 minutes. Right. We've looked at a couple of individuals there, but there's a bigger tactical picture at play here.
Yeah, I think the way that Man City approached the game and the way that Wolves approached the game were completely different. And I think we're starting so much negativity around Chelsea at the moment. But I think we show here now just what Chelsea are trying to do. And under the new management, with this set of players, they can do really well. So if you see against City here last week, City condensed the middle of the pitch. They realised, look, we're not at full strength yet. Let them go around us. And you can see everything that City did pushed Chelsea back and made them go, right. And Chelsea, to be fair, were a bit negative in this game. It's against City, so, new style, all of that. But as you can see, everything here is really good from City. Here now, in the middle of the pitch, I thought Fernandes was playing a little bit out of position, but Savinho could have easily gone outside and allowed that. You'll see in the next clip that we show, that's on all day. They could have been a little bit braver there, but they don't. Because it's City, they're a little bit nervous, a bit passive. And you heard the manager say that they felt it was a bit different. But today, people in their right positions. Look at the run from Fernandes. He opens it up. Now allows the middle of the pitch. But where Palmer is, it allows for this to go right there. Now the holding midfielder has had to finish at centre half because he's panicking of where Palmer is at all times. Now look, he could give the ball to Palmer if he does. Nui's thinking, right, do I need to come inside or do I stay outside? And every time that he was out, and that's just one occasion, this happened all the time. Look, every time the middle of the pitch was open, and this is how Maresca's trying to get them to play, overload the midfield, and again, Palmer's positioning every time just makes the defender think, where should I be? Ain't Norris thinking, look, do I go? Where's he going? It gets him now, and this is what I like. He doesn't run outside there. He goes into positions where he can score goals. And again, this bounces back, and it just comes back to him by being in that penalty area. But this is them at their best. We're just going to take it through slowly here. You see Palmer, he starts to come down. The defender starts to come with him. And what happens here, and I think this is why they've signed Dewsbury Hall, because he knows the system. Look at the run that he makes. Just pause it there. The centre-back goes, should I go with Palmer? Should I not? The right-back comes in. And now what we call in football now, everyone jumps late. So now Chelsea are in a position where they've always got an extra touch on the ball, an extra body. Here now, look, the two centre-halves are really wide. Palmer could run in behind. He's in between everybody. What it does, it just drags everybody out, and he takes a perfect second touch there just to kill the game. And then now, João Felix, all that space. All of this is based on Cole Palmer's movement. And I think just with the talent that they've assembled, this could be a really, really frightening team if they get it right.
Or in some of those situations, Cole Palmer not doing that but much movement, but just making sure he stays where the space is.
Absolutely, but being cute enough to stand still. Everyone now is on stats and running and all that, but sometimes the best thing you can do is stand still, and I think he was excellent today. And I know Madueke gets the plaudits for the goals, but he was fantastic today.
I think, as a midfielder, the worst thing to defend, obviously when the ball's on one side of the pitch and you're two holding midfield, you have to come across. You have to protect your partner in that midfield area. And what Cole Palmer did well was work the opposite side. And it makes it really difficult for a midfielder or a centre-half to jump out and pick you up. And I thought he did that really well all afternoon. And
then just the final one on that. Obviously, they're not as brave against Manchester City as they were against Wolves. The next stage of the development will be brave against whoever they play. Presumably. Absolutely.
But I think the change with the two wingers was different as well. He had two wingers that were running and willing to run in behind. And I think we're against Chelsea, a lot of Cole Palmer's on the right. He wanted against Man City, sorry. Cole Palmer wanted the ball and Cuckoo wanted the ball. They kept coming to feet, so it was all in front. For any defender, when people keep running that way, it just makes the game so much more difficult.
From a Wolves perspective, concede 6 at home to Chelsea, there will be an element of panic from some people. I suppose the key, and you look at their first 10 games here, Opta have analysed these first 10 games and they reckon it's the hardest start for any team in the Premier League. So patience is going to be required until we get to the clocks going back.
Yeah, and I think if you look at, their run of games in those 10, I think that they will suggest that's right. Away to Arsenal, then they're at home to Chelsea. So they've got Newcastle in there, Forest away at Derby. So they've got Villa away, another Derby, Liverpool. So they've got a lot of tough games. But I think they have to be patient. I think they can take a little bit from what Bournemouth did last season in them opening 9 games. Didn't get many points from it, but then had a really good end to the season.
And the positive is they've got goal scorers. It looks like they've got goal scorers.
They've got 2 that they can rest their goals, their Premier League survival on. I thought these 2 were really good today. I worked the first game when they was at Arsenal. I didn't think they had much going forward, but Cunha coming in looks better. These 2 essentially play as 2 strikers. They're not doing that, but Cunha's always in and around off the big man. The big man does a lot of selfless running. That was called offside. But if you see, they're always willing to run. As we just spoke about with Chelsea, they're running this way, making the defenders back off. And they were just lively, they were game, they didn't care that they were playing against Chelsea. And this is a great finish. I think the keeper dives a little bit early, but we'll give him the benefit of that. It's a good finish. But just look, with the big man being there, it gives Cunha all the space to get in there, and this is a great defensive block. I don't think that gets talked about enough, but they're in there, and these 2 are going to be key for Wolves staying up. 100 million out, 30 million spent. A lot of them staying up will be on these 2.
Which is a big difference. Sat here for probably about 5 years talking about Wolves' goal scoring ever since Raul Jimenez did his head injury. So this actually does give them hope.
For sure. I think it's certainly in that opening 45, there was a threat. They caused Chelsea problems at times. And what I liked about them, they were both willing to do both jobs. They didn't mind one dropping in and one stretching and vice versa. And they worked that really well and really connected. And obviously they both got their goal.
What was a crazy game, Michael? The first goal from Nicholas Jackson after 98 seconds. From then on, Wolves just kept coming back until the second half.
Yeah, it was. It was an incredible game. Brilliant to watch. Chelsea go 1 up. Cunha equalises. Goal of the game, arguably here. Cole Palmer, when it dropped, you know, you just knew that was going to hit the back of the net. You knew what was going to happen. He was going to float it over the goalkeeper. But then Wolves bit back again to make it 2-2. Chelsea will be disappointed. There was 6 people against 3 there on the edge of the 6-yard box. But then after that, Glenn, Chelsea went into overdrive.
Yeah, the young winger, right winger with the left foot actually, you know, gets a hat-trick, in 14 minutes, which was quite incredible. And that's the difference. You know, they were given a lot of space. You give good players like Palmer space, and they're going to hurt you. And he just becomes the assister. Madueke again goes on that right foot this time. And this is almost like a replica. 2v1 again. I don't know where Wolves' defence in their midfield and at the back went, actually, for about 15 minutes. They were so loose. And as I say, they get punished. Neto pulls one back here for Felix. Great finish. Fabulous finish. But that was all about Neto's delivery, cutting it back.
Yeah, 2 subs combining there, Manish. I mean, they're not bad players to bring off the bench, are they?
Yeah,
just to
absolutely.
put the icing on the cake.
Dare I say that result will come as much relief to their new boss. So let's hear from him now. Here's Enzo Maresca.
The performance was good. Probably first half was not complete performance. I think we started very well the first 10-15 minutes. We score a goal and we had 2-3 more chances. And then we start to lose easy ball that when you want to build from behind, you cannot allow yourself to lose easy ball. Otherwise, you concede set pieces, you concede counter-attacker, and you need to be a little bit more accurate. I think second half the team was accurate. We didn't give away any easy ball. And yeah, overall, I think the performance was good.
Was that basically your message to the side at half-time based on what you'd seen in the first half?
Exactly, yeah. What I said the first half. I know that the intention is always good. We don't want to lose easy ball. Sometimes happen, but we need to be more accurate if we want to play in the way we want to play. And also, I feel very, very lucky to have these kind of players that they are very versatile. They can play in different positions. So I feel very lucky.
There was talk before the game about a social media post that Madueke had put out about the town of Wolverhampton. That's why he was being booed during the game. But what a performance he put on today.
Yeah, but I said many times already, since day one, I really like Noni. It's that kind of winger that I really like. But the most important thing of Noni today was the run that he did almost 90 minutes to defend that counter-attacker, that show the mentality of the player and the mentality of the team.
And Cole Palmer today, a hat-trick of assists for the same player, a memorable performance from him, plus his goal as well.
I think all of them, they did a very good game.
There's been a lot of talk about the size of your squad, but maybe not enough talk about the quality in your squad. Did we see that today with the players that came on as well?
But I said many times, I really like the squad. I feel very lucky because I love the players that they can play in different positions and give us versatile players that they are versatile. So yeah, I feel lucky. I feel okay.
If you compare this performance to the performance against Manchester City last week, what were the differences overall?
I really like, to be honest, Manchester City performance. I think was very good. We create chances. We play in the same way that at the same level that they played. But yeah, today for me the only difference was that we won the game.
And you said you were happy with your squad, of course, and you would be after a result like this. But it's the final week of the transfer window, and of course, are you expecting any more incomings to add to your squad?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Noni, many congratulations. A first senior hat-trick, scored in 14 blistering minutes. How were you able to expose them down that side so many times, and what does today mean to you?
Yeah, no, today means a lot. Really just being clever and waiting for the right moment. I think the system allows us to probe and keep possession high up. And maybe in the first half it was a bit more end-to-end, but we gained control in the second half. And then, yeah, it's just, the first one was a bit lucky. Second one is just Cole Palmer, 2 brilliant passes, weight of pass. I just had to step onto it and score, really. So, yeah, I'm made up for the hat-trick, but more made up that we won the game.
Yeah, you pointed to Cole after you celebrated with the Chelsea fans. You touched on his weight of pass in there and obviously his goal. It's an extraordinary ability you've got there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, he's cold and I'm fire, you know, so it mixes well. He's always got the ability to play the right pass at the right time. And then, yeah, me, I like to get the ball in space and beat people and make things happen. So luckily today, it worked.
And a first win for the manager.
Yeah.
You've obviously bought into him, but how important is it for the fans to see what's capable under him?
I think it's obvious, like, everyone saw what he did at Leicester last year. The way he's mad about his approach, like about the little details, and yeah, I think you see that as even in the first game versus City, there were some nice patterns of play, some good patterns of play. We probably just couldn't finish, but today we were clinical. So yeah, all in all, it's a great day for him. I'm happy that he's got his first Premier League win for Chelsea, and yeah, we go on to midweek in Geneva.
Just finally, there was a big smile on your face when you took your first touch as the boos rang round Molineux. Can I ask what you think of Wolverhampton now?
No, listen, I just want to apologise to anyone that I might have offended. It's just a human mistake, it's an accident. Wasn't meant to be out on my socials like that. Now, I'm sure Wolverhampton's a lovely town, and yeah, listen, I'm sorry. But in terms of the boos, yeah, I expected it, but that's part of the game. You have to be able to play under that type of pressure, so it's all right.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Well done. Top man.
It's our way. It was already a crazy first half, but we showed moments of quality and we were well in the game. And then, regardless of what you do with the ball and what you do when you're in shape, if you give goals like we gave, it was going to be a tough afternoon. So we gave Chelsea a lot of help. So an awful lot that I need to fix.
From an attacking point of view, it doesn't get much better, does it? A hat-trick from Madueke, a hat-trick of assists from Cole Palmer, and João Felix on the score sheet.
Yeah, going forward, it was they look really good, Chelsea. We've said they've got good players, but every game in this Premier League is not going to be like that. That was so open. It was like a Wild West game, isn't it? It was like basketball. You have a go, we'll have a go.
Yeah.
There was no defending. You could pull it to bits defensively right for 90 minutes. But it made for a fantastic game. But Chelsea, you give good players time and space on the ball, they'll hurt you.
Yeah.
If you're closed down, you're judged as when you're under pressure as a player, whether you're a striker, midfield player or defender. Life becomes different then. But Chelsea were given so much space.
Did Madueke show today with that first hat-trick for Chelsea why Chelsea perhaps are looking to move on Raheem Sterling?
Yes, Madueke did. Cole Palmer did. Felix did. Neto did. I mean, you can't just keep accumulating these players. So at some point, you've got to sell one or two. Sterling's been there a while. He's of an age now where he's probably not going to be getting better and better. He's probably on big wages. You can understand if you've got to let go of somebody, you can understand why Sterling is near the top of the list. And it'll be interesting to see where he goes, actually. I'm trying to think of a club that would need him, that would suit him. So, yeah, the next few days are going to be really interesting.
Do you see him staying at the club beyond Friday?
No.
Where do you see him going, Glenn?
It's a difficult one. Michael and I were just chatting there. I don't know whether see him at a Villa or, I don't know, Crystal Palace. They lost...
Zaha.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure where he will end up, if I'm really honest. This late as well. He's on big earnings. Who knows? I don't think he'll be at Chelsea, though.
No. But I think it's fair to say it's going to be a busy few days between now and Friday at Stamford Bridge.
A fascinating few days, yeah.
Yeah, if reports are to be believed, 15 players had to move on. How do you go about summing up that game then, Michael?
How long have we got until Liverpool kick-off? It was right from minute one as well. It didn't change all game. So many chances, so many mistakes defensively, so much great play. Great to see Cole Palmer playing a more central role right from the start. I mean, he looked dangerous. Had assists, he scored a great goal himself. There was arguments, a little bit of fighting after goals.
Tension, fightiness.
The whole thing. It was a brilliant Premier League game.
So it was all set up for either side to try and pick up the points going into the second half. But before Madueke then steps up with 3 goals in 14 minutes, all 3 were not only similar, but assisted by Cole Palmer.
They were, and Cole Palmer just picks the ball up in that little inside right position there, free as a bird. That was the problem with Wolves. Look at the space. You can't allow somebody to turn from a free kick there. Then Palmer can turn on the ball unopposed. They slide it into Madueke. There's a little bit of a deflection there. I think Sarr had it covered on the near post. He's going for the near post. Ricochet just goes round him in that bottom corner. And then it just started to flow and Chelsea got that confidence.
And Wolves were on the rack at this point.
Yeah, they were. And it was that combination again. And, when Cole Palmer plays more central, he can just drift to wherever he wants and double. And they were just doubling up on that right-hand side eventually. Cole Palmer there, just drifting away, playing the ball at the right time, the right pace. And you're almost telling the receiver of the ball, what they're supposed to do. If you hit it too hard, that you're basically telling them, right, you need to take a touch. If you hit a really soft pass, basically saying, hit the ball first time, and Cole Palmer leaves messages on his ball.
They get 4 versus 3, Michael. Normally you get that if you're being countered, but they had plenty of people, again, giving the ball away. Palmer again, just 2-on-1, slides him in. That's a good finish. He knows exactly what his confidence is up. He's actually thinking about it. As soon as the ball goes into, they pinch it there, goes into Palmer, he's going like, I know what I'm going to do here. I'm thinking about it. Composure, looks up, there's a little gap, sticks it in that near post. Really kept a cool head.
Defending in big numbers as well, weren't there? 6 players. 6 players pressing the ball all around the ball, so fair play to them. They got numbers forward, and that's why they scored 6 goals.
I mean, Chelsea were clinical, but how can you describe Wolves just losing their heads in midfield in the way that they did?
Out of character, I think that's how you'd describe it, because they had a very solid season last season again. They start every season, people saying, are Wolves going to go down? Are they, you know? They've lost 1 or 2 very good players as well in the summer. So it's going to be an uphill battle for them, and especially if they play like that, that's quite a worrying sign, because they've never really shown signs of being like they did today.
No, they had no pressure on the ball. They put in midfield, and the back players weren't going in there with strikers. Too easy to play against. And I've got a question mark this year, because I think that they've had a downgrade. Normally, you're looking at, in the summer, you might sell a good players, get good players in, but they haven't. I think they've brought players in, they've sold, and the players that are coming in is a downgrade, and I really feel this year they could be in that relegation battle.
But from Enzo Maresca, so many positives, not least for João Felix on his second debut for the club, also getting in on the score sheet. In fact, 3 new signings all combining here.
Yeah, it's a lovely free-flowing goal. Neto here. The key to this goal is Neto looking up. As we see him coming here, he's assessing. It's a lovely free-flowing. Palmer again, beautifully weight there. Look, he's had a little glance. He knows the situation, that Felix is coming onto it. He has a glance, pulls it back beautifully, so he won't find an easier goal all season, Felix, and took it well. He just allowed the power of the ball. Didn't try and hit it too hard, did he? Just passes it into the top.
I'd have normally been making the run across the 6-yard box. You would have been the one that's just backing up play like that. Your eyes must light up as the ball's rolling slowly, and you just pick your spot.
And Neto as well. Some people would have seen it. OK, seeing it's one thing, but then smashing it across. It's not easy to hit first time, but he's played it absolutely, weighted it perfectly.
Welcome back after a brilliant, feisty first 45 minutes from Molineux, all to play for 2 apiece between Wolves and Chelsea. Chelsea were up after just 98 seconds, their fastest league goal for almost 7 years, Glenn.
Yeah, it's a decent flighted ball in, but it's dreadful marking on the back post, zonal from Wolves. But Jackson just managed to sort of draw away from all the defenders. I think it's Cunha that gets the touch on the near post. But as I say, Doherty's just, I don't know, he's sleeping. Look, he just goes in between that. He's not up against his player. He's not gone back on the line to clear it. And Jackson, you know, with an easy, simple, he'll never get an easier header than that. And a great start for Chelsea.
Which basically set the tone for the rest of the game, Michael.
What a game that was. Doherty actually was in the right position there when he started shifting towards the back post. But that was an incredible game. Could have been more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than the 2-2.
Wolves did have a goal chalked off for offside, but they did get themselves level on 27 minutes. This after pouncing on, pinching the ball back.
Yeah, Casado, he's sleeping a little bit, but 8-0, what a run this is. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the quick feet there, little touch and a little Cruyff, and then he's got the vision as well to see Cunha at the back post. I just wonder, Glenn, when we see this again, Fofana's just a bit ball watcher. Yeah. I think he needs to play as a right back. He needs to be aware of Cunha. He actually gets sucked in. He does.
He doesn't need to go over it. And it's similar to last week, you know, against City. We identified that last week. He's just got to open his shoulders up, and he's got a habit of looking at the ball for too long. Great skill, great finish, but Fofana has to pull away and not get sucked in.
Do you know what? It's a strange finish as well. The goalkeeper almost guesses and dives out the way of it, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Now, earlier in the show, we spoke about Cole Palmer, who put in a subdued performance against Manchester City, starting on the right and stayed on the right. Further down the middle, after a pretty direct move, how good a finish is this, Michael?
Well, it's a brilliant goal. I mean, the goalkeeper, Sanchez, spots it straight away. Jackson, lovely little flick in. But as soon as he flicks that in, you just know it's going to hit the back of the net. You know he's going to chip him. You know he's got the technique. Glenn, you spotted something here, though, maybe?
I did. I think the ball's still rolling, you know, when Sanchez, which is a great pass, by the way, great vision from the keeper. And I think the ball was still rolling. But also there, Michael, with Palmer, he's had, like we said before the game, he's had a look over his shoulder. As that ball's coming into him from Jackson, he's had a glance, he knows where the goalie is, and the skill looks fantastic. But it was simple for him. It's on his left
he
foot.
makes it look easy.
Makes it look so... Here's the ball. Let's have a look. It's still rolling, or it's just still rotating.
Yeah.
The goal shouldn't have been given.
It should have been given. Is that clear and obvious, though? Could you say with any real conviction?
Well, if we saw it, they should see it.
Yeah, OK. You've said already about Chelsea's defending. Wolves, from a set-piece move, got themselves back on level terms before half-time.
Honestly, the defending today, when both... I think it's nice that both coaches have gone out and said, don't bother defending, guys. Let's have a great game of football. And that's how it's turning out. It's poor from Chelsea. All ball watching that they haven't... Once that ball goes over your shoulder, you go in and you be first to the goal side. Look at the Chelsea players that are sleeping.
6 against 3 inside the box.
Yeah, and Jackson as well was picking up in that line. He ends up outside the penalty area. I don't know, he's not even in the scene. And look at that, all them Wolves players are going in there, their momentum's going in. Not one Chelsea player has switched in. If it goes over your shoulder, you're back in goal side. That's what you tell defenders, defend that goal. And they've just gone to sleep.
Just to clear one thing up, on that third goal with Cole Palmer, VAR can't recheck restarts. They can't check restarts, which is why they didn't get involved. Hence, maybe
by the laws of the game,
something.
By the laws of the game, that shouldn't have been given.
Okay.
Hey, it's a great goal.
Yeah, it's still a great goal.
I'm glad it is.
Yeah. Trust you to want to chalk that one off as well. That was a brilliant strike.
This is the kind of game we absolutely love. 4 goals in the first half, all square going into the break, and then Chelsea just go Super Saiyan in the second half. And the Wolves' defence does what?
Nothing. And Gary O'Neill talked about there's a lot he liked in the first half, but lots to fix. And Ryan Ait-Nouri is a player that I've liked over the last 2 or 3 years, and he's amazing going forward. He had an amazing assist for Cunha's goal, but defensively, nearly every goal that went in the second half were his fault because he vacated the position too much. When sometimes, I get the inverted fullback, that's when you've got possession. When you haven't got possession, you've got to get back in and play as a left-back. The game was crazy. The game was nuts at half-time. It was 2-2. And it was one of them games where you're thinking, this is no way it's staying 2-2. And even when it was 3-2, you're saying, this is not staying 3-2. But you didn't have an idea which way it was going to swing. And then Wolves just absolutely collapsed in the second half. Chelsea were great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. They were really impressive. But Gary O'Neill's got a lot of work to do.
And no surprises. Madueke, we'll talk about him in just a little bit with obviously his hat-trick. But Cole Palmer really pulling the strings today. We're just hearing a number that 37 goals and assists in his last 36 games. 3 assists today. The last Chelsea player to do that was Cesc Fabregas.
It's incredible. It was a perfect game for the Chelsea players. It was a basketball match, and this is exactly what you don't want against a young squad. Young squad of players, end-to-end game, with quality, especially with Cole Palmer. You give him a little bit of space on the counter-attack. He picks the right pass at the right time. His deliveries, he takes care. That was the first goal. That was Jackson there. It was after 2 minutes, but you give him the space and they've got the energy, and this boy is just incredible. It's poor from Wolves' point of view, but that is just, it's instinctive. He's like he's on the school playground there. But he's not. He's in the Premier League. This boy is superstar, an absolute superstar. And, last year I was praying that some other players will come to the party and assist him. And I think he might get that this year. I think he needs a support act, and I think he might get it now. Madueke here, just breathing off him. He's just saying, I'll stay in a position. I'll get myself in a goal threatening position and give it to that little genius in the middle of the pitch. He will give me it when I want it, and he will give me no control problems whatsoever. He just lends the ball into his teammates and he makes it look easy for them.
I know you saw the Instagram post from Nani's, which he then had to delete about. He wasn't very nice about Wolverhampton and the area they were staying in. He got a bit of stick from the fans. Yeah. So he had no choice but to have the last laugh today.
Well, exactly. I love the way Tim says about Cole Palmer that he's a superstar. But what I love is I don't even think he knows he's a superstar. I think he's one of these players that just goes, do you know what, I'm just playing football. Yeah. He's like a street footballer. He's like a cage footballer. He's just like this guy who just thinks very easily. It looks almost too easy for him at times, the way he plays the game, because his brain's just in another gear to the majority of players that are playing. And we were saying on that finish there, when he clipped the finish, there's probably a handful of players in the Premier League that could have finished that. Maybe Bukayo Saka, maybe Odegaard, maybe Mo Salah, maybe Phil Foden. After that, there's not many, because he made that finish look really easy, and he was impressive, like you wouldn't believe today.
And then, Tim, also, we've been talking a lot about Chelsea and the number of players they have, and a lot of it's been negative about the comings and goings there. But today, a very similar-looking squad, the same kind of structure against Man City, just the two changes, which was Noni Madueke and Mudryk coming in.
Yeah. Maresca is not his fault. I mean, it's been a shambles. I mean, the recruitment's been a shambles, but he's inherited that. All he can do is work with a group of players. He can't work with 40 players. It's impossible for a manager. So he has to upset some people. And he has to make a stand, and he has to say, you know what, guys, I've got to put all my concentration into a group of 22 players, 24 players, whatever he wants to use. And that's what he's done. And he has to discard. Unfortunately, it's part and part of managing at the top level when you've got a really overloaded squad with superstars, so-called superstars, on huge amounts of money. It's hard to deal with them characters. But he has to do what he's an experienced manager. But he has to do what he thinks is best. And at the moment, today is a brilliant result for him. It was a tough start. When you play Man City in the first game, it's always going to be a tough start. He needs to get some consistency going now.